inspiring hope, health, and healing in 2021. Today we're talking about tips on hope, health, and healing. I'm Jill Reynolds, and joining me is my co-host and great friend, Lotus Richer. Hi, Lotus.
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here.
Well, we are so grateful to connect with all of you today. And we love jumping on Thursdays and just coming up with some ideas that might give you a tip for the day on hope, health, and healing. And Lotus had a great topic that she'd love to share with you.
Yes, so today on Tips on Hope, Health, and Healing, we're going to be talking about healing your relationship with yourself and with others. And what that means is basically, oftentimes we're told that we're not good enough or we can't do certain things because we don't have enough money or we don't have enough education or whatever it is. But that causes us to develop not so good relationships with ourselves because sometimes we become the negative voice inside our head. And we need to find hope, health, and healing to step away from those type of self-defeating thoughts and actions. So we're going to talk about that and also talk about how to heal the relationship with yourself and with your family, because sometimes we develop thoughts towards our family, our friends, and sometimes even our people who are not so friendly with us. And so we're going to talk about that today, and we welcome you to comment and let us know if any of this resonates with you and what you've done to change the paradigm in your life.
Well, thanks for that intro, because as you said that, it just so happened that we have a conference coming up to Branson, Missouri, August 20th to 22nd, called Hope, Health, and Healing in the World. And it's going to not only be a live conference, but also virtual. And so we, a group of the speakers and I just had a speakers meeting just before jumping onto this one. And one of the things that came up, which really pertains to this, is I don't have, we all are gifted in different arenas. I personally don't necessarily see one of my biggest strengths as being that of leadership. I'm not like a strong leader, but I'm a phenomenal woman of wisdom, knowledge, and discernment, and extreme organizational skills and hospitality. So we all have different giftedness. And so as I was speaking to the different speakers today, one of the areas for me relationally that I have a difficult time doing, and Lotus, you'll get a kick out of this because you know me really well, I have sometimes a difficult time expressing to another person with leadership in a way that doesn't sound demanding or controlling. And sometimes when I speak and try to get my thoughts out, it comes across that of being demanding or controlling. But inside of me, I'm not that way at all. But I have a difficult time knowing how to get my point across in such a way that's inviting, which then breaks down relationships. And so I shared with the speakers today, and I said, I'm the kind of person that loves, now I hate the word loves, it invites loving critical criticism that can sharpen me and bring me closer to you than pushed away. So I challenged the speakers today and said, if I come across sounding demanding or controlling, would you be so kind to point out to me that you're feeling that way? However, I would really prefer it if you call me or do a Zoom with me so I can see you and we can talk about it. Please don't text me a text like, Jill, you've been really controlling and demanding lately, or you're doing, or Jill, you've been doing this, or because I get that text and the very first thought I have is, I'm just a worthless piece of shit. That's the first thought that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. And then I don't feel like I have a dialogue and I don't have any way of knowing, like, why are you feeling this way? Can we talk about it? So for breakdown of relationship, I guess I'd ask, how do you communicate with others? And when someone upsets you, do you send them an email or a text or a Facebook Messenger? Or do you pick up the phone or ask them to do a Zoom or a FaceTime and sit down lovingly and try to talk to them about how you're feeling?
Well, it's funny that you would ask that, because I had to do that today. I had to speak with someone that I care dearly about, and some things came up, and it frustrated me, and it upset me. And so I said, I need to talk to this person. So I set up a meeting, but during that time, I ended up not being able to meet with them because something else happened. And then I was going to try to push through, and then my better mind said, no, don't talk to them right now. Ask them, can you meet later? And the reason being is because I needed to get my energy right, because I was upset about what had transpired. But I know that communication and full body communication is one of the primary keys to gain understanding of what they're saying and how they're feeling, and to convey why I'm feeling and thinking the way I'm feeling and the way that I'm thinking, so that I can hear them with my natural ear and hear them with my heart and hear them with my mind. And I say my mind because a lot of times when people are talking to us, we already have an idea of what we think they're going to say, because we have our own chattering with us about what's going on in the moment. So I've learned to just stop in the moment and really have that full body listening, so that amid what they're saying, I'm not jumping in and saying no, but no, because at the end of the day, most people, they really just want to be heard. They don't want you to tell them, oh, you're a piece of crap, because those things, like what you shared earlier, those things really just beat you down. They make you feel so badly about yourself, and even about the relationship that you have with the person that's beating you down with their words. And sometimes we may think it's constructive criticism, and for us, the way we perceive it, it may very well be, but to the receiver, the encoded message that we're sending to the receiver may not be taken or perceived, because it's about perception, perceived that it's constructive criticism.
Well, and I think
it's intended, devoid of what it's intended, it still may sting, hurt, or cut those that we know, love, and care about. And so that is where the open lines of communication with a humble heart, mind, and soul come into play. And I think that's really critical when we talk about healing, giving ourselves hope, health, and healing, and forgiveness. That's where it starts. We've got to forgive ourselves first. We've got to, if we think there's no way, I'm just this terrible person, we've got to find the very essence of the greatness that God has instilled within us. And look there. Let that be a starting place for the road of forgiveness.
And I think a key to, Lotus, is the word invitation. Because, when somebody does something that triggers another person. So if I did something that upset you or triggered you, and if you then were to say, hey, Jill, that bothered me, blah, 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 blah. Can I now tell you this, 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 and this? So I think it's okay to go to people and say, hey, hey, I was just hurt. I need you to know that I was hurt. Would it be okay? Can I invite you into a dialogue with me of how I perceived this, and maybe we could have a dialogue to help each other to draw closer together, or something like that. But
I agree, and I prefer to talk with people face to face, and virtually we've been given a great space to be able to do that with different platforms. Because for me, I'm looking at the affect, because a lot of times people, depending on who they are and where they're from, people can be very non-confrontational. So they don't want to have this dialogue with you because they're afraid of what that dialogue might look like, and even what it might feel like, or what it might potentially do to the relationship. But for me, I want to be in the moment. I want the person to see that I am in the moment with them, devoid of any distractions, because I want them to understand. I want to hear, embrace, and respect what you're saying. Now, I don't have to agree, but I do believe that I have to respect them as the spiritual being having the human experience, because that is one of the building blocks, I think, of forgiveness. Understanding that we have to level the playing field. So I'm not better than them and they're not better than me. We're two spiritual beings having a human experience. And we both deserve love, hope, health, healing.
Well, the one that really gets to me, Lotus, and this has been happening more and more. I don't know what is going on with this, but tell me if you've not experienced, because I have, and it blows my mind away, is how many people go into something happens, they never tell you what happened, and then they ghost you. Either they're unfriending, they won't respond to an email, they won't respond to a phone call, and you are left going, did I do something? And this one really baffles me. This one is the baffling one. It would be this is the best example I can say. Like, you and I've got a great relationship. If all of a sudden one day you ghosted me, and I'm trying to reach you, and you're not responding. I email you, I text you, and you don't respond. And then I leave you a message again over and over for weeks and months on end, and you don't respond. That's the ones that relation-wise blow me away, and I get almost paralyzed in it, and I sit there. I'm sorry to swear, but I feel like it mind fucks you, because you sit there and go, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? You have no idea if it's about you or if it's about them. You don't know. And there's no repair, because they won't talk to you, and you don't even have a clue why.
Well, I think I've been on both sides of the coin, in that nobody did the person didn't do anything to me, but I didn't call them back. I didn't make the time because of whatever reason. I'm going to just say that, because we all get really, really busy, but we should never be too busy not to call someone back. And I know that life happens, but here's the thing. I've been on the other side of that. And for me, it's let me pick up the phone. Let me apologize for not, connecting as best I should. And if they're open to move forward, then we move forward. The flip side of that is if someone ghosts me, and they don't tell me why or what have you, then that tells me that that's the value they've placed on the relationship. One, and also maybe they were just so hurt that they were like, okay, I'm done. Because, people have so many different levels of hurt, and they carry that baggage even into new relationships they establish. And when they see anything that's similar to something, the trauma really that they've seen before, a lot of times they'll just ghost, because that's how they deal with things. Now, I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying that's wrong, because maybe for them that's right. That's how they deal with things. But here's what I do know. If you call somebody repeatedly, if you email them, if you text them, and they don't contact you back, but you see them in different events and they're showing up and they're talking to people, they've ghosted you.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the wherewithal to connect with you and tell you why, then that's something that they have to deal with. Now, here's the caveat. We have to, myself, speaking from my own self, I find forgiveness in whatever the situation is. And what I mean is this: I don't know if somebody's ghosted me. I don't know why they ghosted me, because ghosting, typically they just fall off the face of the earth and they don't talk to you. But here's what I do know: if I keep the lines of communication open and they don't return the call or return the message, I forgive myself for whatever they may have thought that I've done. And I forgive them for not having the wherewithal to face me and tell me what the problem was. Because here's the thing: if they're really your friend and they really care about you and the relationship, they're going to do whatever it takes to communicate and work it out. Now, some people may think, I can't work it out, I can't communicate. I think a little bit of that has to do with a level of maturity. Because there's a level of maturity that when people get to that level, they learn to agree to disagree. And oftentimes they leave you with the reason why, so that there is closure. Because guess what? Even though they ghost you, it's not closure.
Yeah.
It's not closure. So what I would say is, forgive yourself if someone's alleging that you've done something, or if you don't know but they may be thinking or what have you. Just forgive yourself, forgive them, and move on and give them space. Don't continue to call them, don't continue to text them, because the space that you allow yourself really from them, you're being a blessing. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, because sometimes
I think it's that space that they need for themselves, and it's okay, because people are in your life for a season and a reason, and maybe the season has passed, but whatever it is, I would say share positive energy from your heart to theirs. You don't have to say anything to them. Share love and light from your heart to theirs. Never talk negative about them, talk down about them. Just move forward. Because if it is designed for you to connect with them and them to be a part of your life, it will come back around. You'll mend the broken bridges and you'll move on. And if that time never comes, just know that you've sent them positive energy with love and light. You are not responsible for what other people do to you. You're responsible for how you respond to what is done to you. And so if you respond with love and light, then you can look yourself in the mirror and move forward. But
I love one of the things you shared. You shared this with me, and I loved it. Is I had one person say something to me one time in a text, and I read it to you, and you said, just respond, thank you so much for helping me.
Yes.
And sharing that with you. Said, just say thank you. And I was like, and I remember that day I was so triggered, because like I said, I prefer loving confrontation in person, or a Zoom, or even a phone call versus a text. And so I was triggered the way it was delivered, not necessarily the delivery. And when you said, just say thank you so much, and I did, and they responded very loving and kind back, and I was like, wow, that was so much easier than me sitting there texting back, like, and trying to find the words to say what I want. And I was like, no, just say thank you so much. And it was like, it dissipated it.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I said during that conversation that we had, greet it with love, positivity, and send positive love and positive energy back to that person in that message by saying thank you. And here's what I learned. Don't seek so much, they got to understand what I'm saying. I seek to understand. But if a person doesn't allow the opportunity for me to understand them, that's okay. And if someone says something that I don't like or I don't agree with, guess what? That's okay too, because that it's their right to feel, think, and be however they want to be. But here's the flip side. so can I. I can think, be, and feel how I want to. And if I send positive energy and love, there's not a darn thing anybody can do about it. You know why? Because that's my choice.
Yeah.
That's my choice. Because I'm striving every day to be more in line with the God energy. And because of that, I encourage people, and I do it myself. Don't get caught up in someone not liking you. Don't get caught up in somebody ghosting you. Don't get caught up in that, because that's a form of trauma that you cause to yourself over time. And we want to be able to heal ourselves from the inside out, but we can't if we're stuck in those traumatic events and we won't let them go. Because it affects us on a cellular level.
Yeah.
It contributes to heart attacks and strokes and all types of disease in the body, the unbalance in your body, mind, spirit, your soul, and just, it does not serve you. So because it does not serve you, you have to recognize it and put it in its place. And for me, being in its place is out of my mind space, out of my heart space, out of my spirit space, so that I open my heart, mind, and spirit up for more love, so that I can give that positive energy out. Whether someone returns it or not, that's not my concern. That's not a challenge for me.
You're only responsible for your side of the street.
Exactly.
You can't clean up. You can't street sweep the whole neighborhood.
And because you sent out that love, right, which was your intention, you wanted to send love out, which helps to heal, okay, which helps to give hope, right, which helps to really fortify our health, that was turned back to you in less than 20 words.
Yep.
In less than 10 words.
Yep, it really does work. Well, thank you. So that's our tips today on hope, health, and healing in relationships. So send out love. Let your request be known. If your request is, hey, can we have a conversation, and the person agrees, and then, a simple word as much as thank you so much for sharing can just really change the whole energy of the conversation. So those are just some tips for today. And Lotus is going to be our amazing Masters of Ceremonies in Branson, Missouri. She's got amazing energy. And we have so many cool stories of people's lives that where they felt at some point their lives had been victimized and they were victims. And that story turned into amazing victory in hope, health, and healing. So we are hoping that you will go to braveheartworkshops.com and register for the event in Branson, August 20th to 22nd. And good news is it's going to be virtual all over the world. So if you can't make Branson, you can get a ticket for only $28, Lotus, $28 to watch this amazing 3-day event. And we're going to record it. So if you can't make one day, no problem. We'll send you the recording. I just ask that you give me 2 weeks because I have to edit the recording, and then we'll get it back to you and you can watch it at your leisure. The nice part about the recordings, I think, too, Lotus, is what if you were going through a day that you just needed a boost of hope? You'll have that recording and go, man, I remember that speaker. I want to listen to them again, because the recording will be divided up with each speaker. So you might have one day that you just need a boost of hope, and you can play that recording anytime that you want. So, and the other thing, guess what, Lotus? We are wanting to serve in the community here of Branson, drug addicts and alcoholics who are on that journey of hope, health, and healing. I myself am recovered for 39 years from drugs and alcohol. So what we're looking for, if you're one of these people out there listening that can help and give someone hope, health, and healing, we're looking for sponsors that would like to buy one ticket, for only $52 or $90, whichever's in your budget. A $52 ticket will get 2 addicts into the event for free. And then you too could either A, get a third ticket and come in person for the 52, or you can watch it virtually. For $90, you'll get 4 addicts in plus your ticket. So 5 tickets for $90 or 3 tickets for $52. If you want to sponsor and help someone else. If you don't want to sponsor and just come yourself, you can go online and just buy a ticket for yourself. So those are some of the cool things we've got going on right now.
Exactly. So yes, it's always a journey when people are recovering from any form of addiction, and to be able to be in the midst of people from all over the planet that are bringing hope, health, and healing in their message and in the way that they live is phenomenal. And so I hope that we're able to share this part of our journey with them so that they know that they're not alone and there is hope, health, and healing out there for them.
So thanks a lot, and we will join in again, Lotus and I, next Thursday. We like to jump on with new tips every Thursday. So thanks for joining in today, and please go to the website now, braveheartworkshops.com, and you can read the bios and look at the schedule and register now. And thanks so much, Lotus, for sharing tips on hope, health, and healing with friendships, relationships, and connecting with others.
Yes.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.